Welcome to r/Tales from Tech Support, where we get to have a little chuckle at the technologically disadvantaged. Like me. I'm Uncle Reddit, and have I got a story for you. Well, welcome back, guys. It was kind of slim pickings for Tales from Tech Support today, so I got a few of those and threw in a few malicious compliance with some tech support or tech-related subjects, so hopefully it's alright. Woe is me and the SSD. User, my computer doesn't work. I'm startled away from my morning ritual of coffee and Tales from Tech Support productive research by a user propping open my door. Me. Okay, what error message does it give you? User. It's black screen with loads of writing on it. Okay, helpful. So I pop down to the user's office and investigate the issue firsthand. No bootable medium found. Press F1 to reboot. Feck. I unplug the monitor and cabling and haul this poor old laptop back to the office to reseat the M2 drive. I pull it open, clean out the cat hair, and take the M2 drive out. I rub the contacts with our fiberglass pen and wet the contacts with some isopropyl, and insert and remove it a few times from the M2 socket. It feels a bit loose. Weird. I slap the back panel back on it, just to stop unwanted shorts and power it back on. No bootable medium found. Press F1 to reboot. Double feck. Oh well, time to file a ticket with Smell Customer Support. A few hours later, an email arrives from Smell Tech Support. Oh goody, a bunch of troubleshooting steps I've already done. I start composing the slightly agitated email. Smell, were you able to check if the drive is detected in BIOS or not? Me, yes, not detected in BIOS. Smell, have you tried running the diagnostics to check for error codes or if the drive is not detected during the test? Me, not detected in diagnostics either. Smell, is there a known good drive that you can try to see if that works with your system or another system where you can test the original drive to see if it would be detected there? Wait, hang on, I haven't tried that. There's another one waiting for service in the office. I better just try it and see if we can isolate the fault so the SSD or the motherboard. So I crack open the other one, swap over the known good SSD into my faulty machine, pop the back on, and power up. No bootable medium found. Press F1 to reboot. Cool, it's the motherboard. Probably explains why the SSD feels kind of loose. Let's just try the SSD from the faulty machine in the good machine. No bootable medium found. Press F1 to reboot. Huh. Must have fried the SSD too. Weird that this one also feels kind of loose though. Let's pop the SSDs back into their respective machines. No bootable medium found. Press F1 to reboot. In both machines. Triple feck. Have I just killed another machine? I take the SSD back out of the good machine, wipe it and reseat it. Wait, that's not in the M2 slot. That's kind of jammed under the motherboard. No, it can't be. Surely it's not that simple. I crack open the faulty machine and verify my theory. Yep, I'm an idiot. I reseat the M2 drive into the M2 slot instead of jammed higgledy-piggledy under the motherboard. Pop the back panels back on both machines and take them for a test toast. They both boot without issue. Oh my god. So I guess there was a spot right under the edge of the motherboard that felt like the M2 slot, I guess. I don't know. I'm guessing here. One of you fine viewers probably knows, so fill us in a little bit down below. Is this a common thing? It doesn't make sense to me, but I don't think I've ever missed the slot for my hard drive. Why do some IT guys go bald? Just a couple stories to help my fellow trench workers smile today. Story 1. This morning the boss's wife couldn't log into the system. Her password kept locking her out. After resetting the lockout and password several times, I was ordered to make the drive and see why she couldn't get in. First things first, I tell her not to keep trying until I get there, 15 minutes out. She does and locks her account again. Once again, I unlock her account, then stand behind her telling her to try again. After watching her, I reach over, turn on numlock, works the second time. Story 2. This case was ongoing. It literally has taken me weeks to figure it out. Accountant's computer shuts off, then restarts while working. I check and see no reason it's being shut down. Swap out her workstation after running several tests and it's fine for a week. Then it happens to the new workstation. Thinking it must be environment, I test the outlet and replace the power strip. Outlets for computers are on battery backup. System seems to be fine for a few days, then it happens again. This time I ran a cord to another outlet with a battery backup just to see if the outlet was acting up. It wasn't until multiple fails I figured out the problem. During wet and cold weather, the accountant wore boots to work. Once at her desk, she would take off her boots. Occasionally, she would run her toes over the power strip, pressing the reset button. Oh my god. Okay. Note 1. Don't play footsie with your power strip. Note 2. Maybe mount the power strip not on the floor? Just a crazy thought. Boss is power hungry and told me to be on time, so I changed my work times a bit. So I did my apprenticeship with this company, and after 3 years I moved to a standard IT position at a plant near my home. The first 6 months went great, and the communication with colleagues and boss were good until one day. He wanted to talk to me about a few things, but one stuck out like a sore thumb. He asked me to pull my timesheet up where all our log into work and log out of work times are saved. He told me to be on time because I was 3 times too late in the last 2 months. He would check it regularly and would get back in touch if it happens again. The funny thing is, I was 1 minute too late these days because of traffic reasons. I drove 25 to 30 minutes, and I also stayed longer on these days. So he told me to better plan for it, and he wants me to be here exactly at 6. I was furious about this. It seemed like such a useless complaint, and just a way of keeping me under control and to mark him as the boss. Normally I'd come in at like 5:50, work time only starts at 6, and leave around 13:50 mark, work ends at 13:45, and paid overtime starts 31 minutes after closing time. I would start working before 6 with easy work like mail and stuff, and worked a bit overtime because I had to pack up. Now I just drink coffee and stand around while looking at my phone until it's exactly 6, and I log in. No minute early, no minute late. He wants me to work exactly at 6? Okay. I will, but I also leave when my time is done. I also pack my things neatly so I can log out exactly at 13:45, and I don't stay longer because I need to be on time. Overall, he lost work time with useless power tripping. He never mentioned the changes because he can't do anything about it. Yeah, I've had a few bosses like that. Yeah, I know, we're supposed to be on time. I get it. That was OP's fault being late. But if you really step back and look at the bigger picture, was he really screwing up production being a minute or 2 or even 5 minutes late? Probably not. Plus, he stayed and made up the time. So, yeah, on average, you got a lot more time in production out of him the other way. But since you wanted to mark your territory, now you got this. Offer a $1,000 bonus for guessing the date and hour of our new product's launch. Here's a 4next loop and a heap of email spam. This was a long time ago, when $1,000 bought you more than a small coffee at Starbucks. Our company was about to launch a new database product, and they decided to hype it up internally by having a contest to guess the date and hour that the general availability announcement went out. The rules were that you could make as many guesses as you wanted, but each guess had to be submitted in the form of an email. I think they figured that nobody was going to write too many emails. They figured wrong. I created a little program that basically did, and I'm not reading all that, it's code that basically guesses every date and time. I hit go and waited. A little while later, the product manager called and yelled at me for filling up his inbox with spam, but he acknowledged that I had stuck to the letter of the rules, and I deserved the $1,000 bonus. What I didn't know was they had planned to give the bonus to everyone on the product team, so we all got an extra $1,000 in our paycheck that month. I think I got a $50 innovative solution pat on the head as well. It's too funny. You followed the rules. And I think it was really cool of them to kind of kick in that extra $50. It was pretty creative. No standby policy? No standby. I used to work in IT support for a big financial institution. The company had firm policies on overtime, standby, etc., but management didn't like spending money. Occasionally one of us would get called out overnight to dial in and fix a production issue, in which case we'd get reasonable overtime paid for the call. What wasn't reasonable was that we had no standby arrangements because management would have to pay us to be on standby, even if we weren't called. So one time after getting 4 call-outs for 4 unrelated problems spread over one night, I decided enough was enough and bought an answering machine. The outgoing message was, "I can't come to the phone right now, please leave a message." A few days later, at the daily team meeting, the manager chewed me out for ignoring a couple phone calls as another member of the team had been obliged to fix a problem. I explained that since there was a no standby policy, I didn't have to be available to answer the phone. He huffed and puffed a bit, but since it was his policy, technically his boss's policy, there was nothing he could do. The very next day's team meeting was interesting. A problem had come up overnight and I couldn't be contacted because answering machine. So Night Shift had tried the next member of the team and got his answering machine. The third guy had been slow off the mark and picked up the phone, but promptly announced he would be buying an answering machine that same day. Boss went to Big Boss, then came back and begged us not to use answering machines for a month, instead to keep a shared spreadsheet listing callouts, and Big Boss would make a decision at month end, so we agreed. It didn't take that long. Within 10 days, we had a lucrative paid standby rota. Pretty ingenious. I agree. If work mandates that I have to be on standby, then somebody's paying me for that time. I don't think, well, at least in the US, most places don't have to be full rate. Some nominal fee for being on standby, and then as soon as you get a call or do something work related, then you go up to full rate for that time and then back down to standby pay. I'm not sure on that. Let me know. By the way, are any of you guys old enough to remember answering machines? I Cant See Software, so it's not in the budget for the project. Way back in the 80s, I had a crusty old boss, World War II vet, in the defense company where I was newly minted systems engineer, and doing a bid for a project that involved a bunch of code in Pascal. And the major told me the title sentence, I Cant See Software, so it's not in the budget for the project. Challenge accepted. I printed a similar program on 132-column green bar paper, all 2 boxes of it, carted it into his office and dropped it on his desk. What the hell is this? Software, all custom written at the cost of about 1,000 man-hours. Can you see it? He yelled at me to get out of his office and added my estimate to the bid. Edit. This was a high-speed IBM chain printer. Sounded like a damn train. Yep, you can see it when it's all printed out. That's a lot of code, by the way. 2 boxes of that stuff? Of course, I guess there's software nowadays that has way more than that, but wow. Well, thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. If you've enjoyed this content and you haven't already, do me a favor. Click like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and maybe click that little bell icon so you don't miss the fat guy with the beard telling you stories. See ya!